Why anti-immigration riots broke out in Northern Ireland. The hamlet of Ballymena, which is situated to the north of Belfast, has been the site of 2 nights in a row of violent upheaval, which has led Northern Ireland to be shaken to its core. The incident, which began as a court appearance by 2 teenage boys who were accused of sexually abusing a teenage girl, quickly escalated into widespread violence that was marked by xenophobic undertones. The incident began as a court hearing. During the hearing that took place on Monday, the issue grew more problematic as a result of the fact that the teens utilized a Romanian interpreter in order to verify their names and ages. The use of the translation was sufficient to raise emotions in the neighborhood, and there was a wave of racially charged wrath that swiftly erupted into street-level violence. The violence was a direct result of the use of the interpreter. In spite of the fact that the authorities have not presented any official confirmation on their precise nationality, the fact that the interpreter was employed was sufficient to spark tensions in the area. The succeeding 2 nights saw a significant number of masked rioters burst out onto the streets, engaging in fights with law officers and launching a coordinated assault on both public order and private property. These rioters were armed with masts. They set fires and left a trail of damage behind them as they attacked residential premises and law enforcement buildings. The rioters were responsible for the destruction. Bricks, fireworks, and Molotov cocktails that they had fashioned themselves were among the weapons that they carried with them. In an effort to disperse the throng and restore order to the situation, the police officers responded to the issue by utilizing crowd control tactics, such as rubber bullets and high-powered water cannons. This was done in reaction to the scenario. During the clashes, there were 33 police officers who sustained injuries, and some of them needed medical assistance since they were hit by projectiles or caught in the pandemonium after being injured. Unfortunately, the officers were not successful in preventing injuries despite their best efforts. As a result of the violence, the homes and businesses were the ones that were affected the most. A house was set on fire in the middle of the night, and the doors and windows of several other houses were broken at the same time. Moreover, a fire was started in one of the places of residence during the time that groups of young men were seen tearing up sections of pavement in order to use them as improvised weapons. Fires lit up parts of the commercial hub of the town. The occurrence of both of these events took place concurrently. A great number of people who live in the village of Ballymena were filled with dread as a result of the destruction, which not only caused them to suffer physically, but also took their lives. Some of the neighbors, in a desperate attempt to protect themselves, began affixing handwritten placards to their front doors in order to express their national identities. The claims that were put on these banners, which contained phrases such as British household and Filipino lives here, were purposefully crafted with the intention of deflecting any potential attacks that could be made against them. The violent clip has been met with a great deal of disapproval from officials hailing from both the national administration and the local government. The police have said that the events are indicative of deeper socioeconomic problems that have not yet been addressed in their entirety. They have referred to the incidents as disgraceful and noted that they are indicative of these problems. Despite the fact that 4 people have been arrested in connection with the riots, law enforcement officials continue to be concerned that this may very well be the beginning of even more widespread unrest. Currently, law enforcement agents are working around the clock to keep a close watch on the situation and to deploy resources wherever they are needed in order to prevent any outbreaks of violence. This is being done in order to prevent any potential outbreaks of violence. This level of volatility is not something that is typically associated with the town of Ballymena, which has a population of roughly 30,000 people. The recent events that have taken place in Northern Ireland and throughout the United Kingdom have caused a great number of individuals to be taken aback as a consequence of the events that have taken place. Given that tensions are high and a fragile calm has only recently been restored, the authorities are requesting that the general public refrain from committing any additional acts of retaliation and to report any behavior that is suspicious or provocative. This request is being made in light of the fact that the authorities have just recently restored the fragile calm. Therefore, the local community is left to deal with the emotional and psychological repercussions of the unrest. This is due to the fact that the disturbance appears to have been driven by xenophobic beliefs rather than any established facts about the suspects engaged in the court case. When one considers the fact that the disturbance is still having an effect on the community, this is a very pertinent point to make. The United Kingdom, which is already navigating a complex social and political landscape as a result of Brexit and ongoing discussions over immigration and identity, is now confronted with a new issue in the shape of growing levels of violence that is motivated by hatred. This is a complex situation since the United Kingdom is already negotiating a complex social and political landscape. It is a brutal reminder of how quickly erroneous information or prejudices may evolve into consequences in the real world, particularly when they are related with country or race, and the events that took place in Ballymena serve as a reminder of this fact. While the authorities continue their investigation into the origins and spread of the violence, a growing number of questions are being asked regarding the additional measures that may be made to address the underlying causes of such disputes before they reappear. This is so that the authorities can prevent the conflicts from occurring again. Ballymena is still being closely monitored, and law enforcement officers continue to maintain a visible presence in the surrounding area. This is an ongoing situation for the time being. Despite the fact that the locals are optimistic that the worst is over, many of them are apprehensive that the peace that has been established in the town may turn out to be fragile and only temporary because the core issues have not yet been addressed.